It's nice having you here in Warsaw. Well, you talked about customer experience, so I want to ask you, the first question is, how did you experience the forum, our event, and what did you like about it?
Well, I have. First, it's amazing to be here. It's my first time in Warsaw, so having the opportunity to speak at the IAB is a real amazing treat for me. Plus, the venue, I gotta say, I love this venue. In fact, I want to take this whole venue back with me to California because I think every movie theater should be this way. But I have to say that the IAB has organized an incredible event here, very professional, very precise, and I found it to be a great experience. Okay,
yeah. You talked about experiences, about designing for now, not for yesterday. Well, what I'm wondering is, how can marketers design experiences when in the era of personalization, where everything is personal?
Well, technology allows for so much scalability today. I just don't know that we've first figured out what does somebody value. You know, it's sort of what you... Technology to me has always been an enabler, right? It's not the solution. And I think what happens is marketing gets so caught up in legacy processes and systems and metrics that we take new technology and we just stuff old stuff into new things, right? And so the consumer over time, right, the more you do that, you know, it's like anything in terms of evolution, the more you do that, the more you actually contribute to the problem, right? And when the problem becomes so significant that other technology companies now try to solve that problem, like ad blocking, for example, you've created a monster. So now if you were to think about, well, what is the experience? What do you value? How do you behave? And how are there people like you? And you look at psychographics and behavior sets, and you look at just the elements of which would inform what an experience could be, and then use those elements to then put into the system that scales that, personalizes that in terms of segments. It's just reimagining the approach to be truly human-centered instead of technology or marketing or creative-centered.
Okay, well, you said to ask, what do you value, what is important to us? So how can a marketer that's like 45 years old, for example, design an experience for for a person that's 25? Is it even possible? Can he understand them?
I hope so, because that's my age.
So how do you do it?
Well, that's what I spent 3.5 years when I was writing my book, was to design an experience that was going to be more relevant to not by age, but just of a mindset. And I think that's what we have to think about. I call today's consumer Generation C, and the C stands for connected. And I did that specifically because I started in my research finding patterns of, you know, if a 55-year-old person uses an iPad and Facebook and Snapchat, Uber, they live an active digital lifestyle, they exhibit the same types of behavior sets as a 25-year-old. And so then you start to realize, well, it's not a millennial thing, it's a behavior thing, right? And so you start to then group those behaviors and design for it. You have to be inspired through empathy. You have to be inspired by living the lifestyle of the person you're trying to engage. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're acting like an old person who's trying to market to a young person, and we know how that plays out. There was I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's an old Mel Gibson movie where he realized that if he wanted to market to women, he had to actually become a woman. And so he, in the movie, goes through life as a woman and recognizes in a very empathetic way what it's like to be a woman, the good and the bad, and then is inspired to think differently about creative. And I think that's all any of us can do, is be immersive because we care, not because we're just trying to get someone's attention.
So maybe marketers shouldn't focus on target groups, they should focus on target people.
So logical when you say it that way, but you know, I often say that common sense, there's no such thing. It's too uncommon. It's hard to think that way because you're taught otherwise your entire career, books about marketing, college and university teaching you about marketing. But yeah, what we're looking at are groups of behaviors, groups of people who have common aspirations, common frustrations, common interests, and then designing for that.
But should you target the common part, or shouldn't you target the individual part?
I think you should target everything. I mean, in the experiments that I do, there's only amazing results that can happen when you target the bigger groups that you understand and also the smaller groups that you understand, and you're able to reach them consistently. It changes the game, though, right? It changes what a campaign is. It changes how you fund that work. It changes how you measure that work. But no one's going to reinvent marketing unless you reinvent marketing.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Brian, it was nice having you here and nice talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.